That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I was just so disappointed. But normally, even in a disappointment, I could have eaten something covered in gravy, and I could not eat this. This was borderline unedible.
Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right. This is a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. My name's Peter Bielman.
Hey, and I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without killing it with Googling it or fact-checking it. And, we just want to point out that there are a lot of listeners out there that get it. Y'all are getting what we're doing. You just want to have a conversation. You're staying curious. You're asking each other questions. So when we get emails like that or we see you on the street, it just makes our day. So I hope you guys are having fun with this also.
Me too. It's fun to hear stories. It's fun to get stories either through the secret TDSR text messaging or the podcast email or through the website. This is a lot of fun, and that's why we're doing this.
So it's simple. We're just talking. This time, Cecil, you don't know what we're about to talk about, do you?
I know. These episodes actually are pretty exciting.
So just the other day, I was having breakfast with Giorgio, and I forgot how we got talking about funerals and memorial services. But we started talking about the food served at funerals and memorial services.
I may have something to add to this already.
I totally expect you to. And so I came home, and one of the things he mentioned was a dish called tomato aspic.
Yes.
Have you heard of this?
I've eaten it.
Would you like to explain? I didn't know what it was. And so, Cecil, what I have to my left are a bunch of Southern cooking cookbooks from different churches.
I'm well familiar with these cookbooks
from this area and in the deep South, Mississippi. So
I can't wait.
I'm not gonna reveal the exact location of these, and also just to let everyone know we're not making fun of these, but some of these recipes are pretty remarkable. That I have eaten this stuff too, and it's always shocking. Actually, it's shocking to the senses, to the nose, to the textures are shocking. It's
I am looking forward to diving into this. I've got a tomato aspic story.
Go ahead and explain then, please, because go ahead and explain tomato aspic.
I can't explain tomato aspic, but I can tell you my confrontation with tomato aspic.
Okay, go for it.
So I was either a freshman or sophomore in college, and they decided that they were going to have a colonial dinner at my school, and so they were going to have a traditional colonial dinner, and they had all different things that they would only have during colonial times. One of those being tomato aspic. Which I thought would be exactly the same as stewed tomatoes.
Oh, man, you could only wish.
Which I love.
Sure.
So when the tomato aspic came around, I loaded up on it, thinking it was like stewed tomatoes.
Okay.
It is not. It doesn't taste like it at all.
Does it look like it?
It doesn't even look. I thought it looked like it enough. But
I was going to say, maybe we're not talking about the same tomato aspic.
We might not be talking about the same thing.
What was this tomato aspic?
This had a red hue to it, but it was not. It did not have the taste of stewed tomatoes. I cannot explain the taste that it had, but I had a lot of it on my plate in front of a lot of people, and I had to eat all of it.
So let me read the ingredients and see if this resonates with your taste buds, and also
the story.
Okay, so a tomato aspic This is, here are the ingredients, all right? It's an envelope of Knox gelatin,
Yes.
cold tomato juice, boiling hot tomato juice, a small bay leaf, vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, and one beef bouillon cube.
Yes.
So this is supposed to be a gelatin.
Yes.
It's supposed to be solid. I suspect also cold.
It's like, and I thought that it would have a different taste. I
Okay,
thought it would
but-
have more of a tomatoey taste.
Okay, but you understood that it was Jell-O, essentially, right?
Right. Well, I did halfway into it.
Okay, you had to keep going.
Yeah, you had to keep going. So I wasn't expecting the taste that came through.
That was fantastic.
Yep.
So think about some of the foods that you've had at these different. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a funeral. It could be
Homecoming, dinner on the grounds.
any kind of potluck. Luck being sometimes the word. What are some of the ingredients that stand out to you that are used in some of these recipes?
Like main
ingredients.
Yeah, chicken.
Chicken, all right.
That's a big one. Potatoes.
Potatoes, yeah.
Yep. Carrots. Tomatoes.
We got the tomatoes.
Not in the aspic form, but tomatoes.
Okay.
Green beans.
Green beans. How about some
Onions.
some things you would not expect that just show up into some of these?
Raisins should not show up in any dish, but they often do.
What are they joined with?
I've seen them in either fruit salads, which are okay, but I've also seen them in potato salads, which are not okay.
Okay, I don't have a recipe for that. Yeah. I do. I would fall back on the carrot and raisin salad.
Yes,
with a
carrot and raisin salad
with a light mayonnaise vinaigrette.
Yes, that would be a classic dinner on the grounds.
What are some other unusual ones?
Jell-O molds. Jell-O molds.
I've got no shortage of. Here's a Jell-O mold for you.
Yeah.
Let me read this to you.
Right.
Tell me what this would taste like to you. So obviously you have 2 envelopes of gelatin. I'll throw in a can of mushroom soup, and I'll throw in some cottage cheese. I'll throw in a can of tuna, a cup of mayonnaise. Throw in some green pepper, celery, minced onion, lemon juice, and salt to taste. This is called the tuna salad mold.
Wow. That's strong work.
Isn't that?
Yeah. This had to be like during the 70s.
Maybe so.
Like 50s, 60s, 70s, as Jell-O was becoming a big deal, and people were using it more and experimenting with it. And there were some experiments that obviously went awry.
Maybe some of this is pre-Jell-O because it was just calling out for a packet of gelatin. So this was not flavored stuff. Now I do have a recipe for flavored.
So the gelatin was just holding all this concoction together.
That's right. It gives you the congealed salad. It's the congealed part of the congealed salad.
Yes.
Speaking of congealed salad, here's congealed pickle salad for you. Okay.
I don't know.
So here it is. It's a package of lemon Jell-O, a cup of chopped nuts, a cup of chopped pimento, 3/4 cups chopped dill pickle, half a cup of chopped celery. Mix it up, chill it, put it in a mold. Serves 8.
Do you remember like when people would have the Jell-O molds hanging or their gelatin molds hanging on the wall?
No.
Yeah, so I remember like gelatin molds hanging on the wall, like cookware. But I don't remember gelatin salads this complicated. Like I remember like gelatin fruit salads, but you've got some pretty off the wall things here.
So my mother, I don't have it. She actually inherited from her mother a Jell-O catalog. And one of the molds is the shape of a castle.
Nice.
You use some kind of green Jell-O. But the castle really is just the 4 walls. But what do you do about the turrets? On the turrets...
How do you make the turrets?
You use asparagus.
Of course
you make an asparagus tower on each corner for the turrets.
Asparagus aspic.
So this is asparagus salad.
In gelatin?
Yeah. So you're going to use... Of course, you're going to do... boiling water, you're going to use lime Jell-O, some salt, And this is just the can of asparagus. So this is not the fresh, crunchy stuff. This is
Wow.
this is a deep cut. Some cold water. Add your cup of shredded cheddar cheese. Can't go wrong with a cup of mayonnaise in this one. Half a cup of milk. Tablespoon of onion juice.
What is the mayonnaise in there for?
And a tablespoon of vinegar. Because we don't want this thing. This is a savory dish, Cecil.
This is going to be sitting out in the sun at the back church parking lot somewhere.
I'm telling you,
baking.
Well, you gotta get there. You gotta get there quick.
Right.
You gotta get there quick.
So I think our words of wisdom are: if you're going to eat a congealed salad, let's go ahead and be the first in line for that. If it's got mayonnaise in it.
That's right. Or if you're going to have a potluck that features congealed salads, do it in the wintertime.
Yeah. Don't be the last one into that congealed salad. You need to be number one.
This may speak to why people do rush to get in line at potlucks, because I'm usually the guy who just kind of sits back. I don't want to get in line. I don't want to wait in a long line. Now, I guess part of the line is, socializing and things. But I can socialize at the table. I spent a lot of time in line in my life. I don't want to be in line. But this is why you get in line, because you want the good stuff.
Well, and you want to get into it first, too. I mean, after somebody's dug in for it for a while, I don't particularly like digging around in the dish after it's been kind of picked over.
Now, one thing you haven't mentioned, one ingredient you haven't mentioned, is Ritz crackers.
Right. So Ritz crackers, that's a big ingredient in casseroles. I know there's some pies that are made with it, that you crunch up the crackers and make the crust with. But I remember Ritz crackers being in casseroles, like would line the casserole, be around the edge of a casserole.
Yeah. This is a pineapple bake. You would have some crushed pineapple, sugar, all-purpose flour, some butter, shredded sharp cheddar, and a cup of Ritz crackers crushed for the topping. For the topping.
These are all good. You know what we should do? We should have a night of congealed salads.
Whoa.
Where everybody brings one of these from these recipe books.
Man, I don't think I can do that.
You couldn't eat the tuna congealed salad?
I don't think I can do that. Now, do you remember those? You remember in reality shows like Survivor or a lot of these reality shows, they would have these eating challenges.
Yes.
I'm surprised some of these congealed salads didn't show up.
Well, now, as a backpacker, have you ever tried TVP, textured vegetable protein?
No.
We'll have to talk about that.
Well, TVP?
TVP, yeah.
Well, that in of itself does not sound right. So I really just have two more recipes. You mentioned chicken, and you know chicken is good. Now, this is called 5-can casserole.
Okay, I actually think I've remembered some 5-can casseroles. Let's see what this one.
All right, let's see if this one just resonates with you, because this also has another popular topping on it. Okay, so this is a can of whole chicken.
Oh, canned chicken. Have you had a canned chicken before?
Yeah. I have.
Okay,
yeah. I try to. Yeah. A can of mushroom soup.
Okay.
So that's your second can. Third can, a can of chicken and rice soup. Fourth can, a small can of chow mein noodles.
Okay.
And your fifth can, evaporated milk.
Evaporated milk. The dairy products in these congealed salads is what's really messing me up.
That's right. You've got to keep these refrigerated, people. That's some words of wisdom. Keep these things refrigerated. Put these things on ice.
This is before there was any food safety laws, evidently.
But it's the crushed potato chips on top, I think, that really make the preserve it for us.
I think a lot of these recipes must have been coming out just as packaged foods were really a big deal. Like canned chicken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who now would buy canned chicken?
Yeah, unless you had a...
But back then I guess it was a novelty.
Maybe.
I guess.
Maybe it was difficult. Well, refrigeration was difficult at a lot of places, so you could buy chicken and not have to refrigerate it. It was in a can because it was already cooked.
I would love to know the history behind these things.
Also, another ingredient you didn't mention was Velveeta.
Ah, yes.
Velveeta. Now, this is the mystery cheese that...
Yeah. It melts well, though.
It's quite delicious.
It melts very well.
I get no complaints from Velveeta.
Velveeta, you use it specifically to melt.
Yeah, I think Velveeta is one of those truly American cheeses. Right? I think
you're probably right.
I think we got that.
Yeah.
I think we did.
We invent. It doesn't sound like an American name though, Velveeta.
No, but well, yeah. So this is another asparagus casserole.
Okay.
All right, but this is not an asparagus aspic or asparagus congealed salad. This is an asparagus casserole that consists of a can of small English peas, a can of white asparagus, a small package of Velveeta, a small can of Minto, 4 hard-boiled eggs, chopped or sliced, some cracker crumbs, some butter, some flour, sweet milk, water, white pepper, paprika, Worcestershire sauce, and salt. Did I mention the flour? 3 tablespoons of flour too.
I would love to see what these things look like. I don't remember any. I remember congealed salads, but I don't remember any with like dairy and flour.
Yeah, this is pretty.
This is strong work here, man.
Yeah, I went to the archives.
Yeah, no, you did.
So the last one I just want you to read this one.
Oh, that's what I've been waiting for.
I want to see
my reaction.
Part of this, I want to see if you. Yeah, I just want to see your reaction. I wish the listeners could do this.
This is why we need to have your TikTok thing.
That's right. This would have been a good live episode too.
Yep.
If we'd done this live. I think I could
slunched over these mics as we are.
Well, people in the background would have been aching. Okay, so this one is called Dream Loaf.
Dream Loaf.
Congealed chicken salad.
Oh, congealed chicken salad. Dream Loaf. So a 1 3-pound hen, 4 packages of unflavored gelatin, 4 cups of chicken stock, well seasoned, 1 cup of chopped pecans for those of you in the deep south, 6 hard-boiled eggs, again chopped, 2 chopped celeries, stalks of celery, 2 cans of drained English peas, and of course 1 cup of mayonnaise and the juice of 1 lemon. Good gracious. That's the Dream Loaf.
That's the Dream Loaf right there.
That is, they have a grapefruit aspect right beneath that.
With celery.
With celery. That, again, has mayonnaise in it in a congealed salad.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things, I think, too, though, is when I was going through these recipes, trying to recount some of the ones that I remember from different potlucks, I also encountered some recipes that looked really, really good.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's some pot roasts in there. There's some pork. There's some seafood recipes in here. I mean, I told Bunny, I said, we need to take some pictures of these recipes, have them up here. Let's try them because those look really good.
Well, you know, one of the potlucks or dinner on the grounds, I remember. I still remember this. I was telling my dad about it the other week. Is chicken and dumplings. But I have not had chicken and dumplings ever again in my life like I had at some of these dinner on the grounds growing up. People knew how to make dumplings, and there was butter and real chicken and flour and everything that is kind of bad these days. Were in these things. So, and I wish I could have that taste again and that texture again. But
you remember it, don't you?
Oh yeah, I remember it.
You remember it just like that congealed aspic.
Just like the congealed aspic. I wish now that we've read the aspic recipes, it couldn't have been a true aspic that I had at college. But
why is that?
There was because I wonder if it had the gelatin.
Oh, okay.
But it was a colonial tomato dish that I was really truly expecting to taste like tomatoes, it did not taste like tomatoes.
Okay, is there a chance though that maybe it just wasn't congealed enough?
Maybe it wasn't. Well, maybe they didn't have the gelatin, so this was some way of serving tomatoes. But it was hard to get through.
It was not what
it was not what I was expecting.
Well, I tell you what, we're probably running out of time here, but we definitely want to invite our listeners to send us your favorite recipe,
your favorite dairy-based, meat-containing congealed salad.
Congealed salads, anything with Jell-O, anything with mayonnaise, anything with Velveeta, anything with Ritz crackers, anything with chopped up potato chips, and let's throw in asparagus. You'll get some TDSR bonus points if you can get us some.
I really forgot about how often asparagus showed up in these potlucks.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you saw all the recipes that I showed you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of asparagus.
A lot of asparagus.
There's a whole section called asparagus.
Well, I nothing about this episode has sounded right. None of these recipes have sounded right. But you have come to the end of another That Don't Sound Right, Peter.
Well, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. Again, invite you to send us an email at tdsrpodcast@gmail.com if you've got some favorite recipes or maybe not so favorite recipes. Send those. We'd love to see them for a mailbag episode. We're starting to bring in a lot more mail, and we just love reading them, and we'd love sharing with everybody else. But if this is your first time to the conversation, welcome. We hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get what we're trying to do. We're just trying to talk. And sometimes we bring out some old books.
Right.
Consider hitting the subscribe button on where you listen to your podcast, or on Apple Podcasts, there's a little check mark in the upper right-hand corner. You hit that check mark, you're subscribed, you'll be getting it in your feed, no problems. Also, thinking about rating us or leaving us a review.
That's right. So also maybe try to get one of your friends to listen. That's harder. That's easier said than done, but yeah.
Well, I was surprised to hear that your dad listened.
Yeah, my dad listens every week.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
That's kind of breaking the pattern of people in your past.
That's
They're listening now.
So if you're new to the show, I say if you're from Peter's past, you listen to the show, you write in, you participate. If you're from my past, you're like, I really heard enough of that guy. The first time I knew him, I really don't need to listen to him again. So That Don't Sound Right is a production of Campbell's TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Campbell City Studios. I'm your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil Davis. Your other co-host and web designer is Peter Billman. Our merchandise designer, graphic designer, sorry, Emily. Our graphic designer is Emily Billman. If you haven't seen what she's designed, go to the merchandise and you can see it or you can purchase it. Giorgio is our merchandise tester. Brent is our brand ambassador. And as always, our listener number one is Scott. All right. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.